Hello, welcome. We're gonna talk about the neuroscience of anxiety today. I'm sorry about coming in and out, but I'm here now and I want to see everyone here with me. Hi, Anthony, welcome. Today I'm gonna teach about the neuroscience of anxiety. Do you have anxiety, Anthony? Do you think you sometimes feel anxious? Say yes if you do. Anxiety is a normal reaction that we all have. It's a natural reaction that our God gave us to protect ourselves from danger. Let me read what you said. Well, I speak Portuguese with my Brazilian audience, and this is my American English speaking audience. So that's why I speak Portuguese on the other live. Thanks for asking. So I was doing a live before to my Brazilian audience. That's why. Okay, so I'm going to start the class. Do you like learning, Anthony? I'm going to teach you something today, okay? Hey, do this, do it. I miss you, guy. You're such a wonderful person, Anthony. Such a great guy. All right. I'm going to start in a minute, okay? Give me 1 second and I'm going to start. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about the neuroscience of anxiety. How anxiety works in our minds and our brains and how to change it, how to fix it, okay? And by the end of this live, I'm gonna give you a challenge on how to fix your anxiety a little bit, how to get that a little bit better. And I'm gonna teach you a whole bunch of stuff. Actually, this is all based on a book called The Neuroplasticity of the Brain by Dr. Philip Doyle, something close to that effect. He's a PhD, he's a great guy. Hello. Great, Anthony. If you like learning things, stay with me so I can teach you stuff. All right. So, I am great, Anthony. I miss you. All right. I'm going to start the class now. Okay. So, our brain, it was created to have changes, actually to change all the time. Our brains are so dynamic. It's so amazing how much change and how much we can learn daily from just practicing and reading and studying and anything you're learning. Even if you're close to people that just complain, you will end up complaining too. If you're close to people that only talk about COVID and how everybody's dying, and how it's so terrible, blah blah blah, you're only gonna think on those things. You're just gonna make that bigger and bigger, right? So right now, what I want to, I don't know what you're saying. Do this real quick. I'm not gonna make that face right now. At the end, I will make the face if you stay with me, Anthony. I'll make the face that you like, okay? Stay with me. You're so awesome. All right. Our brains were created in such a dynamic, wonderful way by God that we were made for change. And we have neurons, and these neurons, they are formed whenever we have new neurons, and we have new neurons every day. If you're learning something, you get new neurons. That's called neurogenesis. And whenever you have new connections to your brain, then that's called synaptogenesis. Because they're called synapses. So it's called synaptogenesis. Now, what does that mean? Well, okay, so for example, let's say you wanted to go to Paris. You've always wanted to go to Paris. It's a wonderful place to go, but you've never gone. You've only seen pictures and, the Eiffel Tower and all these things over there. So let's say you have enough money in your life and then you go. When you get there, you create new connections, new synapses to what what it is actually Paris is all about, right? You learn what it is like in the airport, in the streets, how people are, the foods, the smells, everything. So what actually happens is that you're creating, like before you only knew Paris from pictures and videos, but now you have new synapses, you have new connections to what it means to be in Paris. So in this case, you're creating new synapses, new connections, you're learning, right? So this relates to anything. Every time you meet a person, right? New synapses there, new connections, right? So in this case, you learn, for example, you learn a lot of things that you didn't know about the country, that you didn't know how expensive things were. You didn't know how their culture is so much different than ours in so many ways, and so much it's alike in so many ways too. You learn that there's so many Islamic people there. You learn that people there don't believe in God as much. Not that many people believe in God. You learn, you know, so many different things that you never expected to learn, right? Or if you have a different appearance, like not, you know, the appearance that they accept, and people might look at you different, which might give you the understanding that this is not a welcoming place, right? It all depends on these people, you know, the people's reaction over there. So therefore you're going to create new meaning to what you had about Paris. For example, if you go with a terrible person that only knows to complain and just talk bad about things, your perception of the place might completely change and say, I hated Paris. I hated it. It was so terrible. And it wasn't about Paris. It was about the person that you were with. So therefore, right, whenever you're learning, whenever you create new neuron pathways, it is also communicating to your brain new information, and you have new meaning to things, right? So when you see people who have brain injuries, for example, right, part of their brain actually literally dies. And so when this happens, it dies because blood doesn't flow through it, just like any part of your body. If you don't have blood flowing through it, it dies. So your brain, that happens too, right? So that's called brain, what's the word? Brain, injury. There's another name. Anyways, I can't remember it. But what happens is that people that have such things that they go through, brain injuries or even accidents, they can restore their brain because brain has plasticity. It can readapt and get better again and be healthy again, right? So we have the possibility of changing the way we see the world, the way we act in the world, because of the way we understand the world, right? So, and the only way we can do that is start learning. So what you're doing right now, you're creating plasticity in your brain. You're creating new neuron pathways. You're creating knowledge. You're learning. So with this now, you're ready. Doing so much. Good job. So there's also, I remember strokes. Whenever people have strokes, that's the biggest, most common way of negative activity, right? Which is like death of neurons, right? So strokes. We also have, so we have the parts of the neurons. We have a lot of, you have to learn about, you can learn about all those details. But what I want to teach you today is that some details about that we don't know. For example, did you know the neurons don't touch each other? That's right. They don't touch each other. Why? Because the way they communicate is through chemicals in the brain. So if you fill up your head with thoughts that are bad for you, or if you fill up your body with drugs, it also, these chemicals are being changed and exchanged it like market, like money, in your brain. And so your influence, your whole body, your whole being, your whole way of looking at the world is being influenced by this, right? And this happens the same way as it happens in our lives. For example, if you go and you meet a person and you make friends with a person, you have a good relationship with this person, but this person is always being very negative, as I mentioned before, you're eventually gonna react in the same way. The same way with people that are loving, sometimes you're very close to a loving person and you become a lot more soft, a lot, in a way, in a loving way, more caring, because the person is more kind with their thoughts when they speak to you. You start doing the same thing to them. So always watch out to who you have around you and your exchanges, whatever happens in your relationships. Consider how you feel when you're close to these people, the people that you're around. Do I feel less than? Do I feel good? Do I feel heard, seen, and understood? So always question yourself, because that also is communicating, just like your brain, that we need better communication. We need to exchange good chemicals, just like the brain, when it's communicating, it's exchanging chemicals, right? So people say, I don't like the energy of that person. Listen to your body. If you feel in your body that the person is heavy, that person, you just, make some distance, protect yourself. You have to create boundaries to know where you're gonna trust your heart, to whom you're gonna trust your heart, and to whom you're not gonna trust your heart, right? If they don't know how to take care of their own heart, how are they gonna take care of your heart, right? So I'm gonna give you some physiological understanding of anxiety, right? So for example, anxiety, when it comes to you, it reacts physiologically. So then your heart rate goes up, breathing, right? You sweat, you breathe faster, you start in a sense, you start feeling like there's threat, there's a problem, you have alert, right? So because your heart rate goes up, your frontal lobe also shuts down so that you focus on a particular thing. Your hands get cold or your feet get cold. Why? Because your body is starting to react in a fight, flight, freeze reaction, which is the feeling that we get when, let's say, we're exposed to a snake. You want to either fight it, right? Go against it, flight, run away from it, or you completely, when you're full of fear, you freeze. Yes. So if you have that reaction of freezing before fear, whenever you're exposed to something that gives you fear, then thank you, Anthony. Insomnia, sleeping problems also relate to anxiety. Thank you. That's so true. Whenever you have that freezing sensation, and it could be related to not sleeping well too, because you're so afraid, right? Then you should know that you need to look for a therapist, a counselor, a psychologist that will help you, fix your anxiety, because it's actually based on a root of a problem, which is usually from a fear, where something that you were exposed to, in the past, or for a long time, and you didn't even realize that you felt so threatened as a child. Sometimes as a kid, we don't know, right? What are the things that give us fear? So then I want you to kind of look for help, because medication can only do so much, right? So anxiety is a problem, and it's a big problem when it takes over your life. When these physiological sensations start without any threats. Okay? So whenever there's no threat and your body is having these sensations of threat, danger, there is a bear coming close to me, right? Or my predator, a person that was mean to you. So then that tells us that this is problematic and you need to do some treatment, because medication can help you with not having your heart rate go so high, or your medication can help you with not getting so scared a little bit. But the root of the problem will only be touched, will only be healed if you go to therapy and see the where it started and how we can heal it, right? So because anxiety, the where it comes from is your brain, it's your mind, then we need to look for the things that are guiding, that are taking us to this place. All right, so what it is that we need to first tell ourselves that this reaction of fight, flight, freeze reaction, the heart rate, the sweat, the fear, feeling threatened, is a natural reaction. You can tell yourself this, that it is a natural reaction from a threatening moment that you had in your life, but you're not in a threatening place anymore. There's no threat right now, and everything is okay. First thing you do is let yourself know that this is a natural reaction, but it's only coming because you went through so much before. Okay. The second thing, and this is, you have to remember this forever if you have this until this goes away completely, is that you're going to do a breathing exercise. And the breathing exercise is called 4-6-7 exercise. And it's very simple. The way you do it is you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 6 seconds, and you let go for 7 seconds. So 4-6-7. Very simple, right? So you breathe in, hold it for 4, and breathe out. With your lips open, with your mouth open. Why the mouth has to be open? I don't know. I don't know. It has to be open, okay? If you have bad breath, brush your teeth. But it has to be open, okay? So you calm yourself. And then another thing that you can do is tell yourself everything is okay. I am safe. Everything is fine. And if you are not safe, for example, if you were exposed to your predator right there and then, if there's a person that wants to hurt you, then you need to find help, okay? There's a lot of companies that help women and men that are in abusive, physical or emotional abusive relationships. And they have shelters, they have places where you can go to a safer place, okay? Another thing, and to answer your question, during insomnia, does your heart go at high speed? If you're in a threatening reaction from anxiety, then yes, Anthony, that could be a possibility, yes. Okay. Now, I want you to learn a little bit about mindset. Okay, so because it's your mindset that's going to change the way you perceive anxiety or your life or the things that are harming you. Okay, so what is your mindset? Your mindset is the way in which you look at life, the way you perceive the world. We all have patterns in which we think on. Okay, you always have those. So usually people think in a particular manner about it in a particular way, right? People that are more logical or people that are more emotional. But still, that's the root of our habits or the way we think or even our dreams, right? The possibilities that you think you can achieve in the world, right? So if you change your mindset, you will change the way you view your whole life. And the first thing that I want you to learn about your mindset is that you can change it. We are not we're not doomed to just think in the same way for the rest of our lives. And next week, I'm going to talk about the mindset and the 3 components of the mindset and how to do a lot of things, changing your mindset to get there, right? I'll leave you curious, so you come next week, okay? But the first thing we have to learn is that anxiety is that it is part of the challenge that you will do at the end of this class. I'm going to give you a challenge so you start doing something different, right? You start acting in a different way so you don't have anxiety, all right? So the physiological feelings, they come, and it's a normal reaction. Remember that. It's a normal reaction. If you're driving your car and somebody cuts you off, your heartbeat's gonna go higher. Your hands are gonna get cold because the blood flow is gonna be greater. Your blood flows all the way to your heart, so that your heart beats faster, so you can react to fight, flight, or freeze reaction, right? But if you allow yourself to ruminate, that means think over and over and over again on the same thing. Remember the mindset? If you keep on thinking on the same thing, anything that you think on all the time, the same way, that's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger, right? So if you keep on thinking on the things that harm you, it's just going to give it power. You're going to give you anxiety power if you keep on thinking on those things. Everything you just, ruminate on, it's going to increase. It's just going to get worse. Because you are making those connections stronger, right? So, for example, I have a little bear. And I want to, let's say this is a kid, and I want to be nice to this kid, and I want to take care of this kid, and this kid's such a good kid. But, let's say I'm going to be his babysitter. But before going, all I can think about are the bad, terrible things that could happen when I take care of him. Oh, so he could choke, he could faint, he could hit his head and die, he could da-da-da-da. So you're thinking of all these connections, right? You're creating all these possibilities right here in your brain. And then what's happening is that the fear is just getting bigger and bigger of me taking care of this child. So the problem there is that all you see is problems. You don't see solutions. You don't see that those possibilities are also not going to happen. So you're actually you're doing neurosynapses there for a bad thing, for a terrible negative thing for you, making you think of even more possibilities of how things could go wrong, how everything can be worse, how everything can just, you can just be, suffer or whatever. So the more we think about such things, or whatever, the more you think about the things that hurt you, the more power you give it. Okay, so the Bible talks about that. In Proverbs 23:7, it says, as a man thinks, so he is. Right? So whatever you think on, you will be. Right? In Romans 12, it says, do not be shaped by this world, but by the way that they think. Live a different life. He says it like that. Then you will discover the will of God. That is, and his will is good, pleasant, and perfect. Yeah. So for example, water is in this bottle. It takes the mold of this bottle. It takes the shape of this bottle, right? But if I turn this water in this little plasticky thing to put my glasses on, it'll take the shape of this. Yes. If I put this on my computers, right, or my microphone, it'll change in different shapes. And it'll destroy my microphone, right? But it'll also take the shape of that. And the Bible says, do not take the shape of the world or the way people think in a bad way. Take my shape. He's saying, think on the things that I teach you, right? Live a different life. Be different than them. Then you will discover what is good for you, right? The things that are perfect and good and pleasant. What you choose to see in your mindset will determine the way you're going to see your life, what you're going to believe on, what you can change. So, and just a little detail, please share what I'm teaching you. The people that you think has anxiety and needs help, okay? It'll help a lot of people, and I want to help as much people as I can, right? I know it seems simple. If you think on these things, then you will magically, everything's going to go right. It's not, and it sounds silly, but just a mindset. Just if you start having mindset of a winner, you will be a winner. If you start watching movies of people that are doers, right? Fighters, people that think that they're going to be what they became. They thought of that. They said, I'm going to do this. That's what I'm going to do. That's my model. That's my thing. That's the flag that I raise in my life. And so I want you to raise a flag in your life of that Bible. Remember, Philippians says, think on good things, things that are good and pleasant and wonderful and kind. Think on things that are worth talking about, right? So, we're not victims of our biology. You are not a victim of your biology or your circumstance. If we choose and believe that we can change, we will change. But you have to start with the thinking, with the believing, right? Nothing comes before that. Everything comes from most of our actions, at least, come from a thought, right? So you change your focus. So I'm going to get to the challenge in a minute. Yes. Stay here. It's almost over, Anthony. Stay with me. So I know it seems simple, but I want you to do a challenge, right? The challenge is this. Dun, 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 dun. I want you to find 3 Bible verses that are going to remind you how much God loves you and he protects you, for you to not have fear. There are over 300 Bible verses that talk about fear, and for you to not fear, that God is with you, right? So I want you to write it in a piece of paper. Write these Bible verses and put it up in 3 different places in your house. 3 different Bible verses in 3 different places. It could be in your car if you drive a car, right? And you put it up there somewhere where you can look at. Whenever the fear, the anxiety comes, you're going to read that out loud. And in the bottom, I want you to write the challenge, right? I want you to put the challenge, right? Because you're challenging your brain to make bigger the connections of faith, the connections of trust, the connections that everything is going to be okay, right? I don't want you to make the connections of worry better, right? We want to make the connections of trust, that things are going to get better. So also what you're going to do after that is that you're going to calm yourself. Whenever the anxiety comes, first you calm yourself, then you read the Bible verse out loud. And you're going to memorize this. I want you to do this for a whole week, from here till next week. And next week I'm going to have another challenge. And if you make it, you can send me the pictures and I'll put it up on my stories and showing, Bible verses that people put. And you can put it real nice with flowers or with lines or pictures or something to help you like your brain, because everything that you use, your hands and your body and sound and music, you can even put music on to get you to calm down and start thinking on what is good and positive. And whenever you do this, you're gonna start creating in your brain new neural pathways that are gonna make you stronger. You're gonna make you less anxious. It's gonna make you happier. It's gonna make you trust more, right? Why would we want to create anxiety and fear to grow? Fear, it's a handcuff that you put on yourself. We all have things that we can fear in the world, but we don't have to live by them. We don't have to live in fear. Unless you were in a threatening place, then you have to react towards fear, definitely, but not just be a victim of it, right? So I want you to focus on that, remember that, grow in that, and let that be true to you. If you don't believe in God and you don't want to do a Bible verse, you can write quotes that are going to give you peace in your heart and your mind. But you need to create a new neural pathway, and always reinforce that. Read it out loud, say it out loud, repeat it, right? Pray, sing songs, things that are going to put you in a place of safety. And if it's really hard for you, get a friend that is super positive and call them and say, listen, I'm fearful again. Can you help me? Please help me. Tell me the things that I need to believe in, because I forget so fast. Remind me that everything is okay. And some people just have that gift, Some people just have it. Also, do some meditation. For you especially, Anthony, if at night you can't sleep, I want you to turn on the meditation on YouTube. There's several meditations to input Christian meditation in your case, because I know you're going to like that. And then you can learn to calm down, trusting God, right? And you'll go to sleep. And so stay with me for next week. I'm going to teach you the 4 or 3 components of the mindset. I don't remember right now. I think it's 3 components of the mindset. Oh, that's good, Anthony. So try to do the meditation. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for staying with me. And because Anthony stayed here till the end, I will make the face. What is the face that you want me to make, Anthony? Show me. Let me see the one that you made. Make that face for me. You didn't send me the face. What is the face? Show me. Is it like this? I know you like when I do that face. So, yes, thank you for your input. I really don't have it. Good, good. I'm glad you don't have it. 5 different faces? No, one face. Stare. I liked what you wrote, Stare. It is an emoji. I can't find the emoji, sweetheart. I have, okay, let me see. So you can see it. That's the emoji that you want me to make? Anthony, you're so amazing. I gotta go, honey. I made the little scary face. I'll make it again one more time. Bye, Anthony. Bye, Stare. Thank you for staying with me. And you guys have a wonderful day. Hope to see you next week. Please share my stuff so that more people get help. All right? Bye.